Some time ago, in a village called Brass, there lived a man by name Chief Amos. Chief Amos was not just any man, he was the pillar upon which the village leaned, the voice of reason in times of turmoil, and the keeper of traditions passed down from generation to generation. Chief Amos has two sons, Sunday and Friday. Like the two sides of a coin, these brothers were as different as night and day. Sunday, the older of the two, was strong and quick to speak his mind. He was the one who led the village hunts, with a spear that never missed its mark. Yet, his temper was as fiery as the midday sun, and he often clashed with those around him. Friday, on the other hand, was like a gentle breeze that cooled the hot afternoon. Soft-spoken and thoughtful, he preferred the quiet wisdom of the elders and spent his days learning the ancient proverbs. While Sunday's voice could be heard across the fields, Friday's whispers were like the rustling of leaves, soft, but full of meaning. Chief Amos loved both his sons dearly, for they were his pride and joy. Yet, he often worried that their differences would one day lead to conflict. He would gather them beneath the great Iroko tree, telling them tales of old stories of bravery, wisdom, and most importantly, unity. "My sons," he would say, "a house divided against itself cannot stand. You must learn to complement each other, just as the sun and moon share the sky." One fateful day, the villagers begin their day with the usual routine, fetching water, tending to crops, and chatting with neighbors. As the day progresses, a sense of unease begins to creep in. Chief Amos, who is usually seen making his rounds and offering wisdom to anyone in need, is nowhere to be found. Whispers start to spread among the villagers, a mix of curiosity and concern set in. As the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the village, one of the villagers, a young boy named Obi, stumbles upon a shocking sight while playing near the large Iroko tree where Chief Amos often sits. There, under the ancient tree, lies Chief Amos, motionless and cold. Obi's scream pierces the air, drawing the villagers to the scene. The once lively village square quickly fills with anxious faces, as the news spreads like wildfire. Women gasp, and men shake their heads in disbelief. The village healer rushes forward, but it's too late. Chief Amos is gone. The scene becomes chaotic, with villagers arguing and speculating about what could have happened. Was it an accident, or something far more sinister? Fear and confusion grip the village as night falls, casting an ominous shadow over the once peaceful community. Very early in the morning, the villagers gathered at the village square. There was tension and noise from every corner. The village elder, Elder Emma, steps forward, raising his hand to call for silence. His deep voice echoes through the crowd. Elder Emma says, "Sunday, my son, the village has heard rumors that you quarreled with your father the day before his passing. Tell us, is this true?" Sunday, his fist clenched and his heart pounding, looks around at the sea of familiar faces, feeling the weight of their stares. He takes a deep breath before replying. Sunday responded, "Yes, it is true. I argued with my father, but I would never harm him. He was my father, my flesh and my blood." The villagers murmur among themselves, exchanging worried glances. Sunday's fiery temper is well known, and the recent argument has fueled their suspicions. Friday, the younger brother, stands at the edge of the crowd, his eyes lowered, and he said nothing. Elder Emma said, "We have all seen your temper, Sunday. It is said that anger can cloud a man's judgment. Can you swear before the spirits of our ancestors that you are innocent?" Sunday's voice rises, filled with desperation, and he said, "I swear on the spirits of our ancestors. I did not kill my father." Then he turned and asked, "Where is Friday? Why does he remain silent? Is he not also my father's son?" All eyes turned to Friday, who slowly lifts his head. His face was a mask of calm. The tension in the air is palpable as the brothers lock eyes, each searching for answers in the other's gaze. Friday said, I have nothing to say, Sunday. My silence does not mean guilt, but I can see you speak so loudly to hide your guilt. Sunday, on hearing this, his anger flared, and he takes a step toward Friday. His voice was trembling with emotion. Sunday said to Friday, you always were the quiet one. But silence can be more dangerous than words. What secrets do you hide, brother? The villagers gasped. The division between the brothers was growing wider. The once close-knit community now finds itself torn between loyalty to the elder brother and sympathy for the younger. The accusations flew back and forth, each brother trying to defend himself while casting doubt on the other. Then, a village woman, known for her sharp tongue, steps forward, her voice cutting through the tension. And she said, the gods are watching, Sunday. If you are innocent, why do you fear? Let the truth come out, for the guilty will not escape judgment. Immediately, Sunday turned to Friday and said, it is easy to stay silent when you are the snake in the grass, hiding in the shadows while others take the blame. Friday's calm demeanor finally cracks, and he steps forward, meeting his brother's fiery gaze. Friday replied, and it is easy to shout when you are afraid that your own guilt will be revealed. I loved our father, and I would never harm him, just as I believe you would not, Sunday. But we must find the truth together, not tear each other apart. The village falls silent as the brothers' words hang in the air. The crowd waits with bated breath, sensing that something deeper lies beneath the surface of their accusations. Then Elder Emma, seeing the pain and confusion in the brothers' eyes, steps between them, his voice filled with the wisdom of years. He said, this rift between you must be healed, for only together can we uncover the truth. Let the village elders and the spirits of our ancestors guide us, and may the guilty be revealed in time. But until then, hold your accusations, for they may do more harm than good. Sunday, known for his fiery temper, is infuriated by the constant allegations against him. His anger is visible in his clenched fist and furrowed brow. He storms through the village, defending his innocence loudly, but his rage only fuels the villagers' suspicions. How can you all believe I would harm my own father? Sunday yells, his voice echoing through the village square. I loved him more than anything. He went about the whole village saying this. On the other hand, Friday's silence is perceived as a sign of guilt or secret knowledge. Friday avoids eye contact, his usually warm demeanor replaced by an unsettling calm. Some villagers interpret his quietness as a tacit admission of his brother's guilt. Friday's silence is not due to fear, but deep contemplation. His mind races, piecing together fragments of memories and conversations that might shed light on their father's death. Yet, he says nothing, allowing the villagers to draw their own conclusions. The once strong bond between the brothers shatters as they each accuse the other of betrayal. Sunday, in his frustration, publicly accuses Friday of plotting against their father to gain the inheritance, while Friday, though pained, suggests that Sunday's temper may have driven him to a regrettable act. You always envied me, Sunday. Friday finally snaps, his voice trembling. I saw the way you looked at father when he praised me. Maybe you couldn't handle it anymore. At this point, the village becomes divided, some siding with Sunday, believing his outbursts are a sign of innocence, while others side with Friday. They are convinced that his silence hides a dark secret. The village elders struggle to mediate, but their efforts only deepen the rift. Villagers gather in small groups, whispering and arguing, casting suspicious glances at the brothers. The once peaceful community is now a hotbed of tension, with old grudges resurfacing and new alliances forming. Each day the village continues to wrestle with uncertainty and distrust, and one day a stranger appears at dusk. The stranger is an enigmatic figure, wrapped in a flowing cloak with a hood that casts shadows over his face. He walks with a purposeful stride, carrying a small leather bag that jingles with the sound of hidden contents. The villagers, already on edge, gather around the stranger, curious and wary. The stranger addresses the crowd in a calm, resonant voice. I have traveled far and wide, and I bring news that will uncover the truth you seek. The villagers exchange puzzled glances as the stranger steps forward, pulling out an ancient-looking scroll from the leather bag. The stranger explains that he is a traveler with a deep knowledge of the land's history and its people. And he continued, I know the story of Chief Amos and the great rivalry that has brewed in secrecy. The stranger continues, unrolling the scroll. The scroll, aged and yellowed, which reveals a map of the village and surrounding lands, along with symbols that only the village elders recognize. The stranger tells a tale of an old family feud dating back to Chief Amos's youth, a feud that involved a hidden treasure, a long-lost inheritance that was never claimed. The stranger begins to unravel the mystery. Years ago, Chief Amos was entrusted with a vast inheritance from a distant relative. But this wealth came with a burden, a secret that could tear families apart if it ever came to light. It was decided that the inheritance would only be revealed when the time was right, and Chief Amos guarded this secret closely, telling no one, not even his own sons. Sunday and Friday exchanged puzzled glances, unsure of what to believe. The stranger continues, his tone now tinged with a hint of sorrow, but someone else knew. A distant relative who harbored jealousy and greed, always envious of Chief Amos's success and the love he received from the village. This relative, driven by desire for the inheritance, concocted a plan to eliminate Chief Amos and frame his sons for the crime, hoping to claim the wealth for himself. The villagers gasp as the stranger pulls out an old, weathered parchment from within his cloak. This, he says, holding the parchment high for all to see, is the proof of the inheritance and the true motives behind the murder. It details the secret agreement and names the true heir, neither Sunday nor Friday, but someone who was meant to receive this wealth only when they were ready. The crowd is silent, eyes wide with shock. Sunday and Friday step forward, their faces a mix of anger and relief. The stranger then reveals the name of the real murderer, none other than Chief Amos's cousin who had always seemed friendly but was secretly plotting against the family. With this revelation, the village elders move quickly to apprehend the guilty relative. The once friendly cousin is dragged out of hiding, his guilt written plainly on his face. You see, the stranger concludes, the truth always finds a way to come to light. No matter how deep you try to bury it, justice will prevail. Sunday and Friday, now united in their shared grief and relief, embraced each other. The villagers cheer as the brothers' innocence is proven, and the true culprit is taken away, ensuring that peace is restored to the village once more. Brass villagers lived happily ever after.